Hi there, Wiana. I'm happy to see that you have more essays. Great. Let's take a look at what you wrote in your next set. Traditional food being replaced by fast food and negative impact. So let's see what you wrote here. Experts from both developing, Experts from both the developing and developed world have debated that since the last decade, people have been choosing fast food. You wrote more fast food. Have been choosing fast food instead of traditional food, or have been choosing fast food instead of traditional food more. Maybe that's how it needed to be written. Some believe that this has had a bad effect on the population around the world. Personally, I strongly agree. This essay will argue the disadvantages of replacing traditional food, with examples from the World Health Organization, University of Cambridge. Okay, so it looks like there's a consistent issue with articles that you're not getting them totally right each time. So that's something I want you to review. Let's move on. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that having meals from fast food restaurants can affect the health of all individuals in a society that emphasizes this easy and quick way of preparing and selling food. Due to the fact that, to make it more delicious or to store for long periods, this kind of food contains more artificial ingredients than in the fresh traditional food. All right, I'm seeing some grammatical errors, and I'm glad that you're trying to use elements from the template, but they're not really working out for you. So, first of all, you said to us that you will argue the disadvantages of fast food. Now, I should be able, from the first sentence in your paragraph, to be able to understand what the topic of the paragraph is, okay? And right here, I'm not entirely clear, all right? Let me explain to you why. You said here that you're going to argue the disadvantages, okay? But here you have on the one hand, and I see it below that you have on the other hand, which leads me to believe that you're going to talk about both sides of the argument. Okay, so maybe the positives and the negatives. I'm not sure. So I'm a little confused as to why you have on the one hand, on the other hand. That's one problem. And then you said here that it can affect the health of all individuals in a society that emphasizes this easy and quick way of preparing and selling food. I don't understand what that means. And because that it's quick and easy is a positive thing. And when you say affect the health, do you mean in a good way or in a bad way? So we're not sure if you're going to actually talk about the disadvantages of fast food or not. So I'm really rather confused here. And also, like I said, because you have this linking device on the one hand and here on the other hand, it leads me to believe that you're going to talk about two sides of the argument, which is not what you said you were going to do in your introduction. So right away, I'm a little confused. All right, but let's see what you said after that. So, actually, no, let's talk about the sentence a little bit more. And so I understand it up to here, it affects the health of the individuals in society. And then you wrote, this is what confused me, that emphasizes the quick and easy way of preparing and selling food. Who does? The society emphasizes. I was very confused by that portion. So, this is incorrect here. You can't write due to the fact that like this. Due to the fact that fast food is so easily available, okay? So this is absolutely the wrong cohesive device here. So let's ignore it for a minute and move on. To make it more delicious or to store for longer periods, this kind of food contains more artificial ingredients than fresh traditional food does. Okay? So you didn't need it at all, actually. Consequently, you don't attract a disease, you contract a disease, such as obesity, allergies, or heart issues. For example, and by the way, these aren't diseases. Obesity, allergies, and heart issues are not diseases. You should have called them just instead maybe health issues, I guess. So health issues such as obesity, allergies, or heart disease, that would have made sense. For example, a recent empirical research from the World Health Organization demonstrated that 80% of the ingredients of certain fast food companies had chemicals that caused addiction, thus contributing to obesity. Okay, so I want to remind you what this essay is about. The negative effect on families, individuals, and society. Okay? Because fast food has replaced traditional food. There is nothing here about traditional food. And where have you talked about families here? You talked about traditional food maybe just here. But where's something about families, about society? It feels really to me more like this is talking just about individuals, but that's it. You briefly mentioned traditional food, so I'll give you that, okay. But I'm not really convinced that you've covered all the elements that this essay has asked you to cover. So let's move on. On the other hand, there are some people that believe this choice has become a habit already among people, and it is necessary because of the lifestyle, one word, of, that doesn't make sense, the lifestyle of a busy life. It's just not something we typically would write. You could have said because of the fast-paced lifestyle, where everyone needs to balance long hours of work and family chores, perhaps, or family responsibilities. Thus, this will compromise the time spent with a T in the kitchen preparing meals. For example, an extensive study done by the University of Cambridge has revealed that families and individuals eat outside in fast food restaurants 4 times a week because of the lack of time to prepare the meals. Okay, so what are you saying? What's your point here? That it's a good thing that, wait, look at what it said again. Traditional food is being replaced by fast food. So you're saying here that, yeah, maybe it's being replaced, but it's actually a good thing for families. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so let me see if I understand this correctly. Based on the body here we have that these foods are terrible for the individual because they can create things like obesity. Here we have these types of food are good because they allow families to go out and eat together, saving themselves time. But what about society? Okay, I'll say that one more time. And then there wasn't really anything here about traditional food again. And it also doesn't match really what you said you were going to talk about. Okay? You said you were going to talk about the disadvantages of replacing food, and you didn't. I mean, you talked about it here, but then what's the point of this paragraph? All right? So what you write in your introduction needs to be what you actually do and say in your body paragraphs. So I'm kind of feeling like maybe this wasn't really planned carefully before you began to write. This is one of the benefits of spending some time to plan your essay before you actually sit and write. So be aware of what your body paragraphs are going to contain. All right, and then shape your introduction with that. So for me, a more appropriate thesis sentence here would have been, this essay will argue the disadvantages of fast food for the individual, but how there are advantages for families and working individuals. So that, to me, is more of a reflection of what your body actually contained. So let's move on. To conclude on the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that fast food does not, because we never use contractions in IELTS, does not make any good for your health. That's an incorrect expression. Is not good for your health, okay? What can seem fast and quick can create, get rid of this, can create more health problems in the long run. and there is nothing that can replace the fresh ingredients of a traditional meal. Now, my concern with this sentence here now, Wiana, is that this isn't entirely what you wrote in your essay. So look what you've got here. You've got an introduction that says one thing that has a bad effect. And then you've got this paragraph that just talks about the bad effect on the individual. And then you've got this other paragraph that that talked about the positives. And then here you're saying, no, it's bad for your health, and that's it. So, honestly, I don't understand what the purpose of this paragraph was. Now, I want to make something clear. It's okay to have a concession paragraph. And actually, I'm a huge fan of concession paragraphs. I think they're important. And I think they really bring a lot of depth to an issue. However, you also have to plan for it, okay? And it has to be reflected in your conclusion and in your introduction, okay? So, you could have said, this essay will argue that while there are health issues involved for the individual from eating fast food, it is a wonderful solution for families on the run. Okay? And then what you wrote absolutely makes sense if you do it like that. Of course, you still have to mention society. Okay? I hope all of this is making sense to you. I hope I've been clear about it. It just has to create a cohesive whole. All right? So I want to move on. All right. Hi, Wiana. So let's take a look now at your task 1. Okay. You're apologizing to your friend, so let's see what you said here. Hello, Barbara. How is it going? I hope you are all right. I'm writing to apologize. I am writing to apologize that I couldn't meet you during my last trip to your city. I feel so bad about this and hope you are not that upset. As we spoke last time, I was supposed to arrive on the 10th of July, but my business trip was changed last minute. To get there 2 days in advance. I don't understand that. I had to get there. I don't know. I wanted to get there. This is confusing. On top of that, a colleague who was supposed to travel with me got sick. Consequently, I had extra activities from the company added to my schedule. It was a tough trip this time. Okay, you can't just combine these two things with a comma. Okay? You could have had a so here, and that would have been okay. The sentence is a little long, but at least a so would have made sense. So let me try it one more time. On top of that, a colleague who was supposed to travel with me got sick. Consequently, I had extra activities from the company added to my schedule. So it was a tough trip this time. You know what? Full stop and then make so the beginning of a new sentence. I was working long hours with back-to-back meetings. Okay, full stop. Thus, I didn't have enough time to pass by your house even for a quick chat. I hope you can understand I hope you can understand and I hope I can plan better to meet you next month when I am traveling to your city again during the last week of August. Let me know which day you are free. This is not a question, this is a sentence. I was thinking of meeting you on 28th of August around dinner time. I hope you can understand me, and I'm so excited to meet you next time. Hugs, Wiana. Okay. So there are little problems here with grammar, primarily. There are some areas that are a little inaccurate, and they create some incoherence a couple of times, okay, as I already pointed out, where I didn't really understand what you were trying to say. On the whole, it's fine. You said, I hope you can understand me. I thought some of the language was a little unnatural. It wasn't really particularly precise, okay? And precision is important if you're aiming for one of those higher band scores. So rather than saying, I hope you can understand me, I would have preferred here, I hope you will forgive me, or I hope you accept my apology, or once again, I'm really sorry about this, but I am excited to meet you next time. Something like that. The content of the letter was good. Okay. It was this little stuff where I just felt like their language wasn't particularly precise. So that's how I would suggest fixing this here. This was good. This was fine. I want to look at this again briefly. Let's see. I hope you can understand. Again, with the understand, I hope you
Yeah, I guess I hope you understand. I hope you can understand. I hope you understand, not you can understand. Get rid of the can. Let's see what happens here. I hope you understand, and I hope that uh, we can plan. I don't understand this. We can plan better. Um, so this part for me felt a little awkward. You could have just said, I hope you understand and accept my apology. And I hope that when I travel to your city again next month, we can definitely plan to meet this time. Something like that. All right, just changing it around a little bit. But on the whole, I think it was, excuse me, I think it was fine. I think you did a nice job. You ended with hugs. That's informal. So no major problems there. I do want you to be careful with this hello, Barbara, though. When you get your answer sheet, when you get the task, you'll see it usually says on the letter, it says begin your letter, dear, dot, 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 and then you supply the name. So a good rule of thumb is to get into the habit of starting your letter dear. Like I said, they usually tell you how they want you to start it, so you can't disregard that. You have to keep that in mind and use whatever they've given you to use. So don't get so much into the habit of this hello. Okay, so go ahead, Wiana, and correct these. Continue writing on your error correction list and send us a new set of essays. I'll be waiting. There'll be instructions in the email on which essays you need to send us this next time around. So good luck with writing them.